If you like working with leather, try out this leather stack ring. So today we're going to be making leather beaded stack rings, which is a really fun project. These little guys look a little bit like a belt or a belt buckle, so it's just a really fun, funky look that you can make really, really easily. So to get started with this project, you're going to need some tools and supplies. Not a lot, just a little. We are going to have a couple tools here. This is going to be your flush cutter. Everybody always needs a good flush cutter. We're using this for our leather and also for our metal. And we're also going to use a chain nose plier just to squish in any little metal ends that we are working with. And we're also going to be using a ruler to measure and a ring manual just to measure the size of the ring. And then as far as your leather is concerned, this is really fun leather. It's a flat leather, and it's not super soft, which is good for a ring. And it's about 3 millimeters wide, and it's just really pretty. It's slightly different color on one side than the other. But you can use any flat 3 millimeter leather. The only thing is I'd recommend that you don't get a real super thick leather this way because they just don't lay as well. All right, so that's that. Then I'm going to be using 26 gauge wire to connect everything together. And just because I like turquoise, I'm going to use some little 3 millimeter turquoise beads. All right, so the very first step in making this ring is to measure out your leather. Now, I'm making size 7 rings, so I cut about 3 inches of leather. If you're going to make one that's a little bit bigger, you might want to cut about 3.5 inches of leather. I really wouldn't start with anything shorter than that because we can kind of adjust the amount of leather that's sticking up after we do the cold connection. So we are going to take a little piece of this leather, get our handy ruler, and you can see how I've kind of already diagonally cut it on that side. I'm just going to hold that with my finger on this side and do a diagonal cut on the opposite side, just like so, using my flush cutter. So that is the start of the project. I told you this was going to be easy and cute. Look how cute they are. Aren't they cute? I like them. Anyway, so that is the length of the leather, and I'm just going to show you here on a ring mandrel how you can kind of measure this, and you can see how I just kind of overlapped it on that size 4. We'll do that here in just a minute to get the size exactly right. So next step is to get ourselves a little bit of 26 gauge wire. All right, you don't need a lot. So just about 3 inches, 4 inches of that as well. And then we're going to get a little bead and pop that on the 26 gauge wire, just like so. All right, so I am going to bend these down on either side and make almost like a little U shape with the bead at the bottom. So I moved my blue mat out of the way just because I wanted you guys to be able to see the turquoise without me just sticking my hand behind there. So here's all I've done is made a little U-shaped piece of the 26 gauge wire with that turquoise bead at the end. Okay, so I just have a little vise that holds onto my ring here. This one's kind of fun because you can actually screw your ring mandrel onto the vise. It doesn't pivot though, so a lot of people like another type of a vise that has an ability to kind of pivot this around. I actually have to unscrew it and put it back on the table to get it in the right space, but honestly, it's been a great little holder for my ring mandrel, especially for these videos, because it's impossible to hold onto your ring mandrel and make a ring at the same time. All right, so the next step is to kind of get an idea of the size that you're gonna do. And so all I'm gonna do is just kind of overlap this cord right here at the size I want. So I want a size 7, and you can see I just overlapped it, so there's a little piece right here. I'm just gonna pull that back off and hold it in place while I do the next thing. So we are going to take our little piece of turquoise. I should have split that open before we got started. Let me just get that. There we go. Split it open and pop it right here onto your leather. And then on one side, you're going to wrap 3 times, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to start over here and move it over just a little bit. You can finagle with this and just kind of get it just exactly where you want it. All right, just wrap, wrap, wrap. And I recommend keeping it neat. I think it looks nice, neat. So that's how I do it. You, of course, can do a messy wrap if you want to, But then I'm going to come to the other side and do the exact same thing. So just kind of make sure all your leather's lined up, and you're going to go wrap, wrap, and wrap. And if you don't love that, just kind of squish that up just a little bit to get it straight. Pull it nice and tight here at the back. And then you can just use your chain nose plier to get everybody happy. Let me get, so you can see underneath, see how I kind of have it nice and neat underneath there? That's where you're going to cut it off. You can also hide your little pieces of wire between, like right here. You can actually hide it right inside there if you want to. I find that the metal, when it's this fine, actually kind of just melts into this leather, and so I don't really have to worry about it poking anybody. But you can do that. You can take the extra step and hide your metal right inside there. So let me just kind of get everybody happy with my chain nose plier. Make sure that I like the way it looks on top. And squeeze the pieces of wire together, like so. And then, just coming underneath, I'm just going to lift it up just a little bit, and about halfway across the inside of that band, or between the two pieces, I'm just going to trim that off and then press that into the leather. And you can just practice with that if you want to and see how you feel about the way the leather feels on the inside. I'm wearing 3 of them that I did just like this, and I can't feel that little piece of leather at all because I just kind of squished it just like this up into the leather. All right, and then just play with your wires. Make sure you're happy with the way they look on either side, like so. And then we'll test our size. Hopefully I did well. Yeah. Perfect, size 7. Look at that. Isn't it cute, like with the little piece that sticks out? I think they look like little buckles. Now, if you don't like the length of them, like I've got mine just a little bit shorter. What you can do is just come on in with your flush cutter right here. Just go at an angle and trim that off, just like so. Make it a little bit shorter so it doesn't catch on anything. And then that's ready to add to your stack. Okay, so that was a super easy, quick beaded leather stack ring. They're really fun if you wear several together. I usually go with 3. I now have 4 since I made one for you guys, but they're really adorable. I find the brighter the bead, the more attention you get with them, and they're really super comfortable as well. So in order to do this project, you're gonna need a few tools and supplies. Just want to remind you of the things you need. You're gonna need your ring manual just for measuring and the size of the ring. Then you'll need a flush cutter that'll cut leather and metal. And you'll also need a chain nose plier, some flat leather, some 26 gauge wire, and some cute 3mm beads. And of course, I used my handy ruler to measure the leather as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys would like to pick up some supplies like the ones we worked with today, check out the links down below. What other leather projects would you like to see us do? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell, and we'll see you again next time.